and this will allow me to view on YouTube and make sure that we're getting in okay. We're waiting. Wow.
Cool.
Excellent. And we're on.
Alrighty. My headphones. Yeah, I can hear it.
All right. I'm gonna temporarily just make me bigger for just a second. There we go.
There's I think there's
okay. Yeah, I've muted you temporarily just to do a little bit of an intro, so it's not personal. It's just by way of intro because I want to kind of introduce things here tonight. There we go. Hi, good evening. We're having a little different. We are trying a broadcast, bringing on dear sister Elizabeth Oakman from Australia. So we are trying an international broadcast tonight. And I'm going to bring her on in just a sec here. I'm going to unmute her. It's never personal. There we go. And Elizabeth, it's good to have you with us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to be here. Yeah.
So we're trying this and it's working. We are international tonight. I'm really excited. This is like the first international broadcast. I've done things with Phil Fox, but that's all in country.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going international. Just by way of intro, I am going to Vermont Friday. I'm busy getting everything ready for speaking and visiting my son. Please pay attention to the Facebook and Patreon. I do not know what type of high speed I'm going to have in the wilds of Vermont. So I may be doing a taped program and then uploading it. StreamYard now lets me do that to set up premieres on StreamYard. And so you're going to have to pay attention because I'm going to have to try and upload it as a premiere via StreamYard if I do it at all. So there may be no broadcast next week, depending on whether I can put something together and actually tape it at Ari's house and upload it, and thinking through what I'm going to do. And there'll probably be only one broadcast next week. This Thursday, there will be no broadcast. I've got pastors to finish calling, tickets to print out, packing to do. We're getting up at like 4 to fly out at 6 to spend most of the day on an airplane to get to Vermont. And I get there on Friday and I immediately have a meeting on Saturday. I have a meeting on Sunday. So it's going to be very busy. Shout out to Chris. I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. Hope to see you while I'm there. So I'm going to do a few questions here and a few disclaimers. The goal is I've never been to Australia. I've been to Vermont, and I thought, wow, tonight's a great time to visit Australia before I visit Vermont. And the only way to visit Australia on my budget is to have Elizabeth on. Because I could never afford the tickets. And Chris says, dinner my place. Hey, if we can work it out, certainly dinner your place would be great. So I've got some folks that might want me for dinner, and they're not planning to eat the missionary, so I'm happy. All right. Got to get used to my sense of humor, Elizabeth. It's kind of a combination of weird and Jewish sense of humor.
Yeah, why not?
And Slam says it's a good time to go to Australia. Let me just take a quick poll tonight. Yeah. Are there any other Aussies in the house? And I'll wait for a reply. Okay.
Yeah, it's just on spring. Yeah, it's pretty nice weather. It's overcast at the moment, but yeah, the weather should be warming up quite nicely. Yeah.
Now we have the opposite problem here. I'm thrilled because it got down to 50 degrees. We're used to 117.
Right. Oh yeah, because you guys have your temperatures in Fahrenheit, don't you? Because we use Celsius. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I learned about it in school, and then America decided not to use it, and I can live with that
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
my body temperature is like in the 20s or 30s Celsius or something, and that's scary.
Yeah.
Hey,
Awesome.
let's start, Elizabeth, by finding out more about you.
Sure.
And so, why don't you tell me a little bit about your family? Because I know your family history is going to be real different than mine.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in church. I was very, very blessed. Yeah. I've got two older brothers who are 7 and 9 years older than me. Yeah. And the oldest of those brothers lives in Alice Springs at the moment. And yeah. And our mother's still alive. She's 94. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to throw this on. We do have another Aussie because Lindsay says she said it's beautiful here in Texas. Okay, she's comparing Texas weather to Australia's weather, or she's comparing it to Vermont's weather, and which works for me because if it's nice in Texas, So okay, good to see
Yeah.
Warrior Woman again. Do you know Warrior Woman? Has she ever tuned into your station?
Oh, I think she's subscribed. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So she knows you and she knows me. It's good to have her here. It's always great to see Carm. Sometimes when I'm on with Vocab, I get to see Carm. So it's exciting to have her here tonight. This is obviously going to be a different broadcast because we're not probably going to do anything teaching or apologetics wise. We're going to learn a little bit more about Australia and see that you do have a fellow countryman. Warrior Woman's an Aussie.
Yeah, that's right. She's too. Yeah.
All right. She's gonna have to just chime in there a few times here. That's great. She's probably from a different area though. When I look at Australia, it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
I looked at your sort of area. Yeah, I hear like New South Wales and it throws me because there is like a country called Wales. I mean, it's part of the British Isles area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to think, okay, it's New South Wales the way like New York was like originally York. And then when they came over here, they called it New York.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So I got that. So family background, your folks were saved?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Yeah, my parents. Yeah, I think they sort of grew up in church. Yeah. Yeah. They they wanted to bring my brothers and I up in the church. Yeah. So yeah. The little I grew up in an Anglican church. That's what Church of England. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to lots of other denominational churches over the years. Yeah.
During the Revolutionary War or whatever King George called it over there, we started calling the Anglican Church the Episcopal Church to avoid tar and feathering. So that's how the Anglican Church became the Episcopal Church. Warrior Woman is a neighbor of yours, it looks like. She's from Ryde in Sydney, New South Wales.
Yeah, that's not too far away. Yeah, from Sydney. Yeah.
Close enough for you guys to have tea?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Now we're meeting up again and people are...
I thought maybe...
I've been in Sydney for a while, but yeah. Have to venture up there sometime. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
It's about hour and a half drive. Yeah, from Wollongong to Sydney. Yeah,
it's interesting for me to get a feel for these distances.
Yeah. Yeah, Australia's
and
quite big. It's sort of similar size to United States. Yeah, in area, I think. Yeah, just a lot less population. Yeah,
your
yeah,
area or Sydney?
yeah. Yeah, hour and a half south. Yeah, down
Okay.
the mountain. Yeah,
Down the mountain or along the coast?
down the coast. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Because you're, unlike America, you're like really surrounded by water.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Oh, it's the world's largest island, apparently. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Mm, and the world's smallest continent, as the stats go. Yeah, yeah,
someone asked about the situation in Australia, and we're going to get to that.
yeah,
I'm letting them get to know you, and I also want to talk a little bit about your station. Um,
yeah. Yeah,
um,
that's coming up.
and Carm says she wants to see some kangaroos. I can't do that tonight. I didn't
No.
invite any kangaroos or
They're out in
wallabies.
the country. They're not in their cities. Well, unless you go to a zoo. Yeah.
I noted on the cooking show I watch. Yeah, admission, guys, I watched this cooking show out of Australia, and they actually had one of the people make a dish where they served kangaroo. So I assume
Oh
they're
yeah.
edible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's actually quite affordable. Yeah, there's actually all sorts of Australian meats and produce now. Yeah, it's all being yeah farmed and everything. Yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah, there's
Okay.
yeah crocodile and yeah all sorts of yeah
Hey,
all sorts of exotic fruits and veggies. Yeah,
um,
really cool.
okay. I got to admit, though, on the cooking show, a lot of the stuff you guys eat does not conform to the kosher laws. I keep thinking I probably wouldn't be eating that. So um, you've got some fish we can do.
Oh yeah,
I
seafood. Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's
some fish, not the shellfish so much.
okay.
Do you guys do beef? You guys do beef, right?
Oh yeah, beef. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Actually, we've got a very big Asian influence too. So you've got the Wagyu beef. I don't know
Okay.
whether I'm
Okay.
pronouncing it right. Yeah, that's very exotic and expensive can be. In the restaurants when they're open. um, yeah. So yeah, beef's definitely on the menu and lamb. Because I
Lamb
mean,
is great. I love
yeah,
lamb.
yeah. Because I
Um,
mean, well, this New Zealand is famous for their lamb as well. Yeah.
yeah, lamb is a favorite. Now, Warrior Woman had to throw this up. Vegemite. Okay. I've
Yeah.
actually had Vegemite and I sort of liked it, but I don't think I'd get my family to concur to save my life. So,
Yeah, yeah. You've got to use it sparingly. It needs to be on something else like toast or a cracker or something like that. You don't want to do this test thing that you haven't, on a spoon. That's crazy. That's asking
so
for trouble. It's very salty. It's a salty.
yeah.
It's almost like a condiment in a way. Yeah,
Now, the good
like
news
soy
about
sauce.
Vegemite is it's very high in your
Yeah,
B vitamins.
yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah,
the bad news is that most Americans have not acquired a taste. And Warrior Woman's concurring here. It needs to be on toast.
yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Um, one of the things that I like to find out are what writers, uh,
Oh yeah.
and I know
Oh,
Nate2 D2 has a station, and someday I want to have him on. He was doing worldview movie reviews, so I haven't
right.
forgotten about Nate. But one of the things that I like to ask people, because we are into the Bible, but that doesn't mean that we don't learn from other believers. And so, which writers influenced? Are there any Christian writers that influenced you greatly?
Well, mine are American as well. I've dug out. I went to actually Dean Sherman. I was part of my testimony is I went to YWAM when I was 18. Yeah, so our father died when I was 17, and then 6 months later, the Lord called me to Youth with a Mission in Canberra. Canberra is actually our capital city. Some people might think the Sydney is our capital city, but Canberra is. Yeah. So I studied. That was in when I was 18. Lauren Cunningham. Well, hang on.
You can hold it up. You can do a promo.
Yeah, there you go.
We won't get mad at you.
Yeah, I was just trying to center it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's a classic book, of course. And I believe Dean Sherman married an Australian woman. Michelle Sherman is Australian. So he spent a lot of time in Australia, and so there's people like that, and then another book is The Fatherhood of God by Floyd McClung. There you go.
Okay.
That was sort of pivotal. Like I was saying, my father passed away 6 months before my DTS, or discipleship training school. Yeah. So I got to be counselled by some really amazing Australian leaders. Okay. Ron Ross is he's like a father figure to many Australians, and Tom Hallis, he's another Aussie YWAMer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could look up some of these people.
Yeah, you could. Now, I cannot guarantee you guys that I'm going to be able to find you links on Amazon for some of these books, because I do not know whether Amazon carries them.
They'd be YWAM have their own bookstore. Yeah, so I could dig that out for sure.
Okay, well, you're welcome to throw a link up there. At the end, I'll have you throw a link for your station. We are getting some real good humor. Some of the folks out there tonight are just engaging in humor there. Built for Speed said he thought Vegemite was a vegetarian black Israelite. No, there are probably other names for them, but Vegemite is not it. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm getting a kick out of that.
That's interesting. You should mention that. There is Black Hebrew Israelites. Apparently, there's a guy down in Victoria who used to be one that's Vocab's friend as well. Yeah. Brother George, I think his name is. Yeah.
Well, I like the idea of used to be. I find them exceedingly problematic, and they're great for making my genetic Mediterranean blood boil. I have plenty of articles that show genetic connection there. So, good. I mean, that's great to know. I'll let you know that it's a British writer that I really appreciate, which is Clive Staples Lewis, known to us Americans as C.S. Lewis. I cut a lot of my teeth on C.S. Lewis. One of the British guys. I tried to read some George MacDonald fiction, but he writes in Scottish accent, and so I have to translate. Very difficult. But an interesting man. Yeah, when he starts doing that and I read the words, they sound really cool, but trying to read them, they aren't spelled the way I'd expect. So now you have some hobbies, I know, because I've seen you showing them on Facebook.
Yeah, I love sewing. I've been sewing since I was a child. Yeah, I've got an old Singer sewing machine. Yeah, I got it as a Christmas present when I was early teens. So yeah, no, I had a child's sewing machine before that. So, and I was making dolls' clothes and all sorts of things. Yeah. So nowadays I make curtains and you know I actually alter clothes as well. So yeah, and add embellishments and things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
My wife loves to
And
do that. She's got her serger upstairs, and she's the crafty person, and so
yeah.
she's taken over
Oh,
our
right.
bedroom. She works outside the house, and I feel I haven't gained a seamstress. I've lost a bedroom, um, because she's got
Yeah.
her for
Oh,
me.
you guys call them surges. Yeah. We call them overlockers. Yeah. I've got one of those as well. Yeah.
I noticed a
Yeah.
difference in terminology
Yeah.
with
It's very
some
similar.
words.
It's the same machine, really. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I recently bought myself a new one of those as well, upgraded. So yeah.
now I know a lot
Yeah.
of
That's what it
Americans are interested in what's going on there. So I'm going to give my famous disclaimer here, which I have to do.
Yeah.
Chosen People Ministries, which I'm under, is seeking to be what they call apolitical. I'm not sure quite how
Yeah.
you do that, but that's what they're doing. And they've encouraged us missionaries to be cool because there are different opinions among the missionaries related to our present situation. So, my disclaimer is that we are hearing from our dear sister in Australia about the situations there. And I'm being a good boy and not getting too hot under the collar and jumping in there too much, um, in order to keep peace in the greater missions family. So why don't now I've given my
Sure.
disclaimer. I feel like I say now I've covered myself, so to speak. Um, let's talk a little bit about the situation there. Are you guys
Yeah.
presently in lockdown?
Somewhat. Yeah, we've actually got a new premier of New South Wales, our state, the state I'm in. Yeah, so that's good news to the majority of us. Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, we probably should focus on the churches maybe rather than politics.
I
Um,
I I think
yeah,
that would be interesting from people
yeah,
because if they're not from Australia, they may not understand the impact on the churches there.
yeah, yeah. Oh well, there's actually quite a few new ministries rising up. Actually, just here in Wollongong, there's quite a few new church plants. Yeah, so there's brand new churches. So that's pretty cool, you know. Um, yeah, and different. Are there and some people are they unfortunately losing their jobs, but there's organisations that are rising up to organise, you know, sort of directories of job directories, yeah, for Christians. So that's pretty cool.
That
Yeah,
is that is
they're on
cool.
Instagram and various and probably all the social media pages. Yeah, yeah, that's really good.
That is
Yeah,
good. And it's exciting to hear that the church is doing what the church has often done under times of pressure. That actually sometimes pressure causes the church to grow. There's a famous quote about that.
yeah,
Um, so that's kind of good to hear.
that's right.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, our church is doing more online stuff in order to deal with some of the things.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, the church I go to, they're from Victoria, and I mean, they've had a musical gifting since the 70s, and they're just compiling their videos for us to sing to. It's just as if they were made for this moment, yeah, yeah. It's eternity. I can give a link for that as well. Yeah, I put it on my Facebook page quite every Sunday. I yeah, I put it on the top of my page. Yeah, That's
Yeah, I
really good.
have seen that.
David and Rosanna Palmer, the names are. Yeah, so they're really
Okay.
cool. Yeah,
Native Aussies.
yes,
Okay, they're
yeah,
not
yeah.
not transplants.
No, no.
Okay.
Oh, they're old rockers. I mean, they know my one of my brothers as well, because yeah, one of my brothers is a sound engineer, and he's been in bands. You know, he's been doing bass guitar and things like that. Yeah, and mixing for bands. So yeah, he knows a lot of people too.
Warrior
Yeah.
Woman mentioned something cool, and there's been a little dialogue here. What in the world is Freedom Day? How did that
Oh yeah.
start in Australia?
Oh well. Some of the shops opened again. Yeah, instead of having orders online, yeah, you can actually go to the shops. Yeah.
Okay, but
Oh,
it's not like a national holiday that's been part of Australia's history for like 100 years or something.
no, nothing like that. It's
Okay.
just it was last Monday. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, I investigated. Yeah, it's good to see a lot of food shops and yeah, no, it's looking a lot more alive. Yeah, it's great,
It's been
and
good
businesses
back
and
here. Um, I was at this afternoon for only about 2 hours, a table at our state fair doing some outreach. It was a Jewish outreach, and they invited me, if I wanted to volunteer some time, and I did. Um,
right.
and so that was really good. Out here, fairs are a big open event, especially in the
Yeah,
States. It's true in New England too. Uh,
right.
so
Yeah,
they often give opportunities.
yeah.
Are there any holidays that are particularly Aussie due to Australia's history?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, there's Australia Day. That's in January. Yeah,
Okay.
and then there's yeah, like Anzac Day, and because our troops. I mean, there's a lot of association. Australia and the US. We're comrades, so there's a lot of association there. Um, yeah, so there's
Okay.
Anzac Day, and that's with New Zealand. You know, yeah. So
Okay.
all the uh, military holidays. Yeah, and yeah, there's. Oh, I could give you give you links for that as well. I haven't really swatted up on that one. But,
Well, that's
yeah, there's lots of
okay. I
holidays.
just noticed my calendar actually has a few of the Australian holidays, such as
Yeah.
there's like the Queen's birthday,
Oh yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
celebrated
that's
at two
really fun.
different times.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, that's pretty funny. It's a whole different day to her actual birthday. It's kind of funny.
I will allow. I understand the comments. We had a lot of businesses suffer too, and so Warrior Woman's pointing out that the economy of
Yeah,
just our country has not been affected, but other countries' economies have actually been affected. And that's important for us to know. It's very easy for us as Americans
yeah,
to focus on our economy and not realize that there are other nations that are, I don't want to use industrial nations, but they're not like third or fourth world countries. They're countries like
yeah,
our country, and their economies have been affected too. And it's very easy for us just to focus on our economy.
yeah,
So,
yeah. True. Yeah. I
um,
mean, but I think mankind, or at least certainly Christians, we have a ability to bounce back. We're quite resilient. That's very biblical too. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, I was just bringing it back to Christianity. Yeah,
um, yeah, we're
I don't know
we're
whether you want to
very
go down the political
well. I
slippery
want
slope.
I want us to think a little more
Yeah,
globally as
yeah,
Christians,
okay.
and I have to admit I'm very bad at it. One of the things that has happened, I think, for Americans is that some of us have gotten more inward, and
Oh,
so
okay.
it's very good for us not only to think about like behind the Iron Curtain things or communist China, but to realize that we have countries that would be considered Western in their outlook who also have to deal with things.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So, because when we
So
think about Christians in other countries,
yeah.
we think about like Christians in Eastern Europe, communist countries, Muslim areas. We don't often think about like before we have church service, or is it after Sunday? Does Sunday come first for you or for us?
We'd be first, yeah. As the days of the week go by, yeah.
So before we've even gotten up to like worship, you guys have already had church service.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're hours ahead. Yeah, that's right.
So I want us to think about this for just a split second. During the Lord's Day, when believers are getting together, now some Jewish believers get together on Saturday. That's a whole other kettle of fish. There's like a whole day of praise to God going on because of our time zones and the way our earth rotates. And so really our brothers and sisters in Australia are really like starting our Sunday worship for us before we get there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's true.
So that's pretty cool to think about that, as different groups of people are getting up and going to hear the word of God. It's like there's a full day of this going on around our globe. I mean, if you think about it that way.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of a cool point.
It is interesting to think about. Yeah. No, I mean, you've got Australia, and you've also got like Papua New Guinea above us too, and the Philippines and all those islands, and then Asia, right above us.
I have missionary friends in Papua New Guinea.
As the time zones sort of go around. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to think about that because we only experience our piece of the pie.
Yeah.
But God, who is outside of time, it's different for him.
Yeah.
He's hearing all this praises each time zone kind of clicks in. So that's kind of interesting.
24/7. Yeah. Oh, pretty much. Yeah. It's great, isn't it?
So that's a cool.
If the rocks don't cry out.
There you go. There you go.
I've traveled a bit. Yeah, if you wanted to talk about that.
I don't mind that at all. Maybe a little easier for you than for me.
Yeah. I spent 4 years in England. Yeah. So we went via we had a 3-day stopover in LA. Yeah, Los Angeles. Yeah. And then spent 4 years in England, and then we came home via Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, so that was a stopover there. So I've sort of been to Asia as well. So I'm pretty blessed. Yeah.
Okay. It's funny. I don't think of LA as a foreign. Well, I'm beginning to think of LA as a foreign country, but I never used to. It's the LA area that I went and got my master's and stuff. But my seminary that I went to is actually outside of LA in La Mirada, which is SoCal.
Oh.
We call it SoCal out here.
Okay. So that was way back in 1996. And we came back in the year 2000, ready for the 2000 games. Actually, well, right on time. As it happened.
Warrior Woman has to get back to work, but I'm thrilled she was with us, and I'm glad I could give some kudos there to Australia, some kind of a shout out to Australia. So and some people are chiming in there. I don't know how many people know what YWAM is. Now, I'm familiar because there was YWAM in the United States. But
Yeah.
YWAM, well, I think it was
Oh,
originally kind of set up in terms of like preparing people or encouraging people. It was youth with a mission.
that's right.
And it
Yeah.
sort of functioned as a missions organization, did it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's worldwide. Very much worldwide. Their their headquarters is in uh, was it Hawaii, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean they've got what do you call it? Big houses. They actually buy up land and houses and have yeah, it's really and have their outreaches there and then go forth from there. It's really remarkable. And then they've got the boats, and they've got all the yeah with medical supplies and
Okay.
they get like donations and they do their like what's the very common eye operation cataracts. Yeah, they do cataract operations for free around in third world countries. Yeah, yeah. So that's super cool. I find that's what really gets me excited. Missions too. Yeah.
Okay.
The two hand thing of the gospel. You got the gospel in one hand, and then you got um, medical stuff. In the other. So you're sort of serving and preaching the gospel. So
Yeah. We tend
that's
to, or at least those who study
yeah,
missions, they're called missionologists. It's an area of
right.
study. You can get a degree. They would call that relief missions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they probably
Yeah.
term that as medical relief missions.
Yeah.
Uh, and some places that may be more closed are more open to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, they go all sorts of places. Yeah. Up the Amazon. Like, there's all sorts of amazing stories. Yeah.
I
Even
want,
behind the Iron Curtain, if you want to, I
yeah,
know. Yeah. Things like that.
I do want to
Trouble
point
with
out that
China.
some of the countries we never thought of as being mission fields are. Um,
Yeah.
Europe right now is more of a mission field than it's ever been. Britain has an incredibly high Muslim population and it's growing. So there's a lot of work being done
Yeah.
among Muslims. There's still Jewish missions in Britain. There's actually a Jewish population
Right.
there. Um,
Yeah. Right.
so,
Yeah.
we think of France and England as being, well, they're pretty much what we call post Christian now. They need to be
Yeah.
reinvigorated with the gospel.
Yeah.
Um,
That's true. Yeah.
so, countries where the gospel has
Yeah.
been and secularism and other things have come in now need to be re-evangelized, and I'd even include America under that. We're really, in my
Yeah.
mind, a post-Christian nation. You can
Yeah.
argue the point with me, but when I'm
Yeah.
talking to people on the street, they don't have the same um, worldview in the background.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
the people I'm talking
Right.
to are asking questions that would be elementary. And when I share, I often tie a Bible story into Jesus. I'll take a verse and tell the story behind it, and then tie
Yeah.
it into Jesus. And some of those people may be hearing those Bible stories for the first time.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. As the generations come up, yeah, they're losing the education, the biblical education. Yeah, they're biblically illiterate. Yeah, often. Yeah, we had sort of lost. I don't know what's happened there. People like Ken Ham from Answers in Genesis has
yeah,
written
very familiar.
several books. Actually, he's a Australian transplant. He's he'd be the one to look up about those topics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of universities have lost their ability to I don't know, tell the truth, basically. I don't know. There's no other way to put it. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and other ideologies have crept in. Yeah.
yeah. Well, one of the problems is
I don't
we've
know whether you.
confused science with something called scientism. Scientism is a
Right.
worldview that science and material explanations can explain everything in the universe, so that the only knowledge
Yeah.
that's legit knowledge is scientific knowledge. Um, in the old days,
Yeah.
when England had its old university, Oxford and stuff, you had
Yeah.
whole philosophy departments
Right.
that functioned, and there was a view that there was more than one type of knowledge or more than one way to find knowledge. And scientism came in, and essentially what people bought into was the idea that the only way to know something is to know it scientifically. And that's an apologetics
Wow.
problem. And I ran into a young
Yes.
man that did that to me recently. And I challenged the idea that the only knowledge that was out there, because he was essentially like that. He was essentially like, um, there may be room for
Yeah.
God, but the Bible isn't where I would go for knowledge. And so we talked to him about that error.
Okay.
It's actually a philosophical and theological error. Um,
Wow.
and I
Okay.
asked him if he could scientifically prove the laws of logic without using the laws of logic, because science doesn't provide for them.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. Yeah.
it is. It is.
That's
I was
very
just
deep, that one. Yeah.
yeah. I was getting brainy for a second. I can't help myself.
Yeah. Wow. Deep. Anyway, did you want to get back to the questions or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I'll segue back. Don't worry about it. I always get back there.
That's a nice big rabbit hole, as people say.
Well,
Oh, speaking of rabbit holes, you were wanting to feature my channel. Yeah. Well, actually, I'd like to give a shout out to my actually, he's an author as well. Daniel Seckham or Seacombe. I'm not sure pronouncing his last name right. Yeah, he's a fellow Australian, and yeah, it's through him that I started doing audio Bibles. We studied the Book of Daniel, and yeah, I've done the whole of Esther, and I'm releasing Hosea at the moment too. Yeah. And I've done quite a few of the Psalms. This is all in audio Bibles, So
so
I thought my Australian accent would be quite a novel idea for the Americans and other nationalities. Yeah. Yeah, I've done other scriptures as well. Yeah.
So, what does an audio Bible mean? I mean, other than having them on Logos, what do you do to produce an audio Bible broadcast?
Oh, I just maybe just go down the beach, or I go across to my local park. No, watch the tennis and just read out a Bible verse. A chapter, a couple of chapters at a time. Yeah, just come back home and put a thumbnail on it and release it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's sort of my process. Yeah.
Now, are they only audio, or is there actual visual background to
yeah,
these?
it's visual as well. The ones down the beach are quite nice. Yeah, actually I did Psalms 91, and that's really peaceful. It's actually got quite a few views on my channel, so that's kind of cool. Yeah.
All
It's
right.
really peaceful down the beach. You'd almost fall asleep to it. It's very peaceful and tranquil.
I use a Bible app at night to listen to the sound of the ocean and scripture as I fall asleep, because I went through insomnia. So it sounds like that particular one would be a lot like the Abide app.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's where I got the idea. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
would you
So,
like to see for your YouTube station? What do you want God to do?
ah,
Tell me a little
um,
bit about that.
oh yeah, just reach more people for the gospel. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, I've got a. When I was in Wyoming, God gave me a heart for the lost. So yeah, um, yeah, that's sort of in my blood now. Yeah,
Okay.
evangelism and yeah.
Well, if your churches ever want a weird guy to go on the beach with a microphone, tell a Bible story, and see if he can tie it into Jesus, you know, uh, I wouldn't mind seeing an Australian beach. Get out your way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I've done sort of vlogs as well. Just wandering around.
okay.
Yeah,
So tell me about the blogs. Hey,
yeah,
blogging's cool.
yeah. My little trips on the buses and yeah, going around good old Wollongong. Yeah, actually, I grew up here. I was born here. Yeah, then moved to I moved to Sydney first up. Actually, I lived in a suburb called Randwick. Yeah, it's
Okay.
near actually Randwick Racecourse, and actually it's there's Fox Studios there too now. That
Oh wow,
An area. Yeah.
I know Fox
Um,
Studio.
that's yeah. That's sort of an American idea. Put into Australian. Australia as well. And then we moved. Then we built a house in the Southern Highlands. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's
Okay.
up near Mossvale and Bowral. Yeah, yeah. That's that. And we brought up our two children there. Yeah, so I lived out there for 20 years or so. Yeah. It's really nice and quiet. It's on the railway line from Sydney to Melbourne. Yeah, and you can go via um, you know Wagga and Canberra. Oh, actually, I can't. Actually, you can. It's actually Queanbeyan, I think, or I have to see where the railway line goes anyway.
Do a lot of
Yeah.
people travel by railway?
Yes, they do. Yeah, yeah. You can get tickets. Tickets quite cheaply. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a good way to get around. Yeah,
So people prefer the railroad in Australia.
yeah. Especially retirees and yeah, they're like and like backpackers and things like that. People like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the railway's great. Yeah, and oh yeah, like coaches and things like that. Yeah, yeah. It's good.
Okay, because a lot of Americans drive.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. The YouTube for Elizabeth Oakman here, our sister. It's right up there. That's the long way of doing it, but it's not hard. Or you just type her in, her name in YouTube, and I'm like checking stuff out here.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's out there. I'm looking at this beautiful Hosea thing where you're by the water.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could almost like share this because it's like there's only a little light here. And I guess you read Hosea 11. I could probably do a share here. I bet you recognize this. Let me try this. There we go. And let me just put this up here for just a sec.
Hey.
And to stream. There we go. And you can see the pretty water there. And that's from her station. I'm not going to play the sound because then you wouldn't hear her. But you can see that view there. It gotten dark. And you can see the lights on the water. So that gives people a little taste.
That's Willendong Harbour. Yeah. That's sort of a man-made harbour where all the fishing boats come in. And there's a really nice fish and chip shop, and you can buy raw fish to cook as well.
Right.
It's really really amazing. the fishing trawlers come in. Yeah.
All
Really
right.
cool.
Yeah, I thought I'd like give folks a little shot there, a little picture of
Yeah.
some really nice scenery.
Yeah.
And
I
so
was sitting on a pier sort of thing. In the middle of yeah.
I couldn't tell where you were sitting from that. I could only see the shot of the water. So that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's really nice. There's nice restaurants there, and yeah. And
Yeah,
then
that'd be a good place to have them.
yeah, and I've done audio Bibles further along the beach as well. Actually, you've also got Port Kembla Steelworks. Yeah, that's another industry. Yeah, our late father was a metallurgist. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, so along with a lot of our other friends, yeah, the BHP Steelworks was a big industry, you know. Yeah,
Okay, so let
producing
me ask
steel.
folks out there who aren't from Australia, how many of you guys feel like you're getting a little tour of Australia tonight? Yeah, minus some of the great pictures. And I cannot provide Australian food. We can't do that through the internet. You know, um,
You can have a look on my Facebook page. I could, yeah.
you can't do smell-a-rama or taste-a-rama on YouTube. They haven't come up with it. There's a question that you can answer.
Okay.
How far is the ocean
Oh,
from you?
just like 10 minutes drive. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
Right on the beach,
you're right on the
almost.
beach, so that's Ocean Beach.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Wollongong City is the CBD is right on the beach. Where I do my audio blogs and everything. That's I just jump on the bus and yes, one of the buses is free actually too. Yeah, so I'm there in 10 minutes. Yeah, really handy.
A little
We've
shout
got
out to
multiple beaches, beautiful white sandy beaches.
yeah,
The beaches in the UK are often pebbly, you know, but the
okay.
beaches here are beautiful white sand. So yeah.
A quick shout out. Slam RN is near Lake Michigan. I grew up in Chicago,
Okay.
and I wasn't that far from Lake Michigan, but I was out in the suburbs. But we often went up to what was called Navy Pier. They used to have something called Taste of Chicago. So that's what made her ask. But Lake Michigan is not the ocean. Lake Michigan is just a lake.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a much bigger body of water than Lake Michigan.
Yeah. 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 Then down further south, you've got Lake Illawarra as well. Yeah. Yeah. It's fairly large. Yeah. And yeah, Shell Harbour is it's almost a secondary sort of area, sort of a council region. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I picked up on, and we've covered some of these questions. You've kind of described what's beautiful about your area, which was one of the questions. I mean, between and so in a sense, part of the beauty of your area is the shoreline and the ocean.
Definitely. Yeah.
That would be part of the beautiful area. We talked about Aussie food. I mean, we've convinced everybody to go out and get Vegemite now. So we've kind of talked about
buy some fish. I'll promote the fish.
Okay, you'll
There's
promote
like
the fish.
salmon and yeah. Oh, lots of other and lamb and beef.
Yeah, we agreed on lamb.
Yeah.
We definitely agreed on lamb. When my
Yeah.
kids come out, we want to go to a Brazilian steakhouse that has lamb because it's the best tasting lamb I've tasted.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
So we hit that, and we know that you're an avid sewer,
Oh yeah.
curtains and
Yeah.
everything. And you did talk about your station. We were able to put that up, and I put the URL up, so you guys
Yeah.
can check it out. The chance to see beautiful Australian scenery, to hear scripture. That used to be a big thing in the ancient church. And for Jews, the scripture is read publicly every week.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The Torah portion. So the idea
That's
of
true.
reading scripture really goes back a long way.
For sure. Because that's what
But
Jesus did, didn't he? He read he read out the prophecy, and it was fulfilled,
yeah.
on the spot. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So, actually, another one of your questions was, well, when did the idea for your YouTube station first occur to you? Yeah, no, when the lockdowns first started around the world, Yeah, I wanted to. I've got an encouragement ministry. Yeah, so yeah, I wanted to. I've got like over 2,000 Facebook friends, so I wanted to cheer them up. Yeah, so that was the idea there.
and I've seen some of the posts, and it's been really good to have that going on in the midst of all the craziness
Yeah,
that is going on. And some folks have
yeah,
put some nice links up there, and I don't mind that at all. Uh,
yeah.
You're under no restrictions. So, how's that? Hey, that's pretty good. You guys are not locked down about talking about COVID. So, how's that?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. So, we just. Actually, my friend Daniel Seckham, he got uh kicked off Facebook for a bit, but just for 24 hours, but at one stage.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah,
Nate
yeah.
2D2, little more humor, and I need to have him on sometime. But he said he should ask, "Do you rip what you sow?"
What does he mean by that?
He's taking a takeoff on a verse. That's pretty funny.
Really?
Uh,
So, very
uh,
funny.
so we've got some really, really astute people, and we got a few guys that could be doing stand up on their own station there. And I've met
Yeah.
Nate in person, so it's been great. For a while, he was doing something where he was doing some broadcasting while he was driving, but that scared me a little bit because I didn't want him pulled over for that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I love sewing. Yeah.
So here's the thing. The URL for Elizabeth Station is right there. And
Great.
I'm going to encourage you. It is good to listen to the scriptures. It is good to see good scenery.
Oh, actually, something else that sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Yeah, another very well played video on my channel there is a local Pulse radio station. My family actually helped start it. Yeah. Yeah, it's my one of my brothers did the sound engineering and that sort of thing. Yeah, and they had one of their test broadcasts at our place as well. Yeah, at one of my parents' houses. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty cool, and it's continuing. It's Pulse. I can give you the the link for it as well.
Well,
Yeah,
here's something you can do. You can go back into the comments, or you can just send it to me and I'll post it in the public section.
yeah.
Now, for some of our American folks, it is not in the afternoon, nor is it in the early evening, but it's actually getting late evening. So I'm going to probably break things, but I think we highlighted your station. I think we highlighted Australia pretty well. I think we got to know more about your background. You grew up in a Christian family and got very involved with a missions organization that really worked with youth and younger folks, YWAM, and they're still around. And I know a lot of YWAMers. And we got in a lot of
yeah, as far as can I just add something there? Yeah, it's YWAM. It's not actually just going out. It's improving yourself. Actually, it actually changed my whole demeanor. It changed my personality. I was very shy. I was actually you know, yeah, hiding behind my mother's apron, apron strings or whatever the saying is, Yeah. So it brought me out of my shell. So yeah, no, I was yeah, and the Lord brings healing and through so I just wanted to put that out there, Yeah, so sort of discipleship, I mean it's lifelong, of course, yeah, you sort of walking with God. Yeah. So yeah, you want to be daily reading the scriptures and yeah, having a relationship with God, Yeah. So that's what YWAM taught me and
Okay.
yeah. That's the
Another
beginning
name
of it
for
all.
those things are spiritual disciplines. That's not to say
That's
that
right.
they're really horrible. It's to say that they're
No.
things that we need to make a part of our life to strengthen our spiritual life, not because they save us, but because they open us up to contact with God, because He speaks through His
Yeah.
Word, and we need to speak with Him, and He can direct our thoughts. And journaling is something that I do, and it's good
Right.
to write insights that He's given you down and to see your spiritual
Yeah.
progress, like where He's led you and how He's led you there, gives you a better idea how He works in your life. So I'm all for journaling. Um,
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Yeah, for sure.
so there's a lot of spiritual
Yeah.
disciplines that are available. I remember reaching Richard Foster's book on the spiritual disciplines. Rox B jumped in here. I didn't know that she was in the house, but I'm glad she is. I think I may have missed seeing her earlier, but that's just great. Um,
Awesome.
so, and I'm
Yeah. Actually, can I do a quick plug, if I may? Yeah, my Daniel Seckham's ministry, Israel, Islam, and the End Times. It's actually got a website. If you've got any spare money, I don't know whether I can do that, if you don't mind. Yeah, you could donate to his. Actually, he has articles from Dr. Michael Brown and people like that. Yeah, so he has articles, people writing for him, from all around the world, So yeah, that's pretty good cause.
yeah. Well, we definitely
Yeah,
reference Dr. Michael Brown.
yeah.
And again, I'm going to put the plug in here. You can find us on Patreon or through Chosen People. So
Yeah, I can put some links under your this video when it's your channel if you like. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm seeing here.
Awesome.
Okay. And Rox B, I know not only from my channel, but from Vocabs. Um, and
Yeah.
Vocab is planning his spring apologetics conference. I've already been tagged. So that'll be
Right.
something to work on after the kids visit. I'll start getting cracking on some of that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's another conference. I think it's happening as we speak. The CI
RA.
Al Fadi. Yeah.
I know Brother El
Yeah.
Fadi. In fact, someday we'll probably exchange
Yeah.
having each other on each other's stations. He talked about that. I know El
Yeah.
Fadi.
Well, actually, Daniel Seckham's on the list of it as well. He's due to speak. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of cool, and a fellow Australian. So that's super cool. He's on the bill.
Uh-huh. Well, it's
So
in Australia. It's not like he has to fly there.
yeah,
It's an
yeah.
Australian
Super cool.
conference.
I just think it's amazing. We're all connected somehow. Christian church worldwide is it's it's amazing network. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also certain parts of it are a little better connected, like through George. I'm pretty connected with some of the other apologists because there are areas.
Yeah.
There are areas
Yeah. Right.
that people kind of get interconnected with. Well,
Yeah. Other apologists like I think it's I think, oh, I've forgotten his name anyway. Steve somebody. Steve. Anyway, never mind.
yeah, there are different areas too. El Fadi specializes in Islam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost feel like doing a Jewish joke with a name like El Fadi. That's not a big stretch. And Anthony Rogers does more than that, but he's very involved. George Saig, if I was going to put a plug in for another guy's ministry, I'd put a plug in for ministry to Muslims. And Nate is reminding me of something because I'm smelling the dinner behind me. So Nate is telling me it's about dinner time. It's past my dinner time, but I'm going to be having a late dinner. The family's back with whatever it is that we're going to chow down on. This has been really good, Elizabeth, and it's not the last time you ever have to be on.
Yeah.
And
we could do this again if you like. I mean,
yeah, sometime.
Dig out some more topics.
Yeah.
I can talk about the Bible and different topics too, if you like.
Yeah. And then I got to get Nate on someday. Maybe get his perspective on some new Marvel movie from a Christian worldview. Me and Vocab did that once. We saw Wonder Woman, and we actually did the broadcast from the theater right after Wonder Woman.
Wow.
And so that was a lot of fun. We didn't get kicked out right away, but he had Periscope in those days when Periscope was running, and we did a little critique of Wonder Woman. And that was kind of fascinating too, because the woman who played Wonder Woman was Israeli. In fact, she was in the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force,
right,
before she started acting. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about that time to say Erev Tov. You should recognize that, Elizabeth. Good evening. For you, good afternoon. Thank you, guys. Be paying attention. There'll be no tomorrow, but I'm going to see if I can put something together since I'm speaking at a church. I might take the sermon I'm going to do and do it as a simple recorded, or maybe even try to do it live if I can get bandwidth. But I'm out in the woods in Vermont. I once did a little thing telling people and updating them on Patreon, and I was literally on a frozen lake in Vermont.
Wow.
So,
and
it's
just gone 1 p.m. here, so it's sort of just after lunch.
Yeah, I know you're in the opposite position. Slam says, nice, relaxing show. I enjoyed it. It's been great. I like doing interviews because I don't have to do all the talking. But I'm going to put Erev Tov, and Elizabeth, I'm gonna let you go get lunch.
It's been good.
And Jack Ray says there'll be no tomorrow, but tomorrow never dies, which is the name of a James Bond movie, whether he realizes it or not. And I'm going to go ahead and take you off and wave to folks and say Erev Tov.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Slam did ask whether the Hebrew keyboard info helped. It did. I need to work it into my system and work on that a little bit. And he actually used the James Bond reference on purpose. So good evening also to Ian Fleming. And it's been great all the way around. So thanks, Elizabeth, for being on. Hopefully some people check out your videos.
Yeah, and, my advice to everybody, keep your eyes on Yeshua, Jesus. That would be my summary.
I think that is just good, solid advice. He is the one, speaking of Hebrews, he is the one who is the walking Shekinah glory of God. There you go. Right out of Hebrews chapter 1. So I'm going to wave first to you. And take you off for now. Okay. And thanks again. God bless. Have a great lunch or post-lunch or tea or whatever it is.
Yeah, brunch. Oh,
All right.
Awesome. Thanks heaps, Jeff. Yeah.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye. And Erev Tov, and goodbye to everyone there. And we will see what we can do from Vermont or just after. So, and I'm going to go eat a wonderful meal. It smells great. So, bye and Erev Tov.